Hello and welcome. This is the first in our series of webinars for all of our different students. Today we're particularly focusing on international students, so we're looking at things like visas, COEs, what to do when you get to Australia, and pretty much everything in between. So by way of introduction, I'm Adam. I manage the student services team here at UOW. This is Hannah.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm currently the team leader over at the Faculty of Science, Medicine and Health, and previous to that I was the International Fees Officer.
And this is Christina.
And I work at Student Central and I'm a Student Services Officer. So once you're enrolled, you can come down to Student Central and we can help you with anything from enrolments to fees to compliance issues.
Yeah, so if you haven't met us already, chances are you will at some point during your studies. So I'll probably just get straight into things. So a lot of you by now have probably already received your offer, and now you're looking to apply for your COE and your visa and things like that. So for those that don't know, a COE is a confirmation of enrolment. So that's a document that you're going to use to apply for your student visa. That's proving to the government that you are a legitimate student, you've paid your deposit for your course, and you've paid for your overseas health cover and all those other little things. And then you use that document to apply for a visa. So if you need to get your COE, if you haven't already arranged for that, the first thing you need to do is check your offer letter and make sure there's no make sure there's no conditions on that offer letter. So that might be something like providing proof of your English language proficiency through IELTS or something like that. Or it could be successfully completing the course you're currently enrolled in, and we just need to see proof of that. So first step, make sure you've cleared all your conditions. You can send that any necessary documents through to future students at uow.edu.au, and we'll arrange that for you through your case officer and make sure that condition gets cleared. Once that's done, on your offer letter, it's going to tell you how much of a deposit you'll need to pay in order to accept the course. So some of you might have a package offer with English or with the UOW College Foundations program or something like that. So you'll have to make sure you pay the deposit for each amount that's outlined and make sure that you have your health cover for the duration of your course. Your health cover is automatically included in your offer letter through our preferred partner, Bupa. But if you decide to fund your own private healthcare cover, that's totally fine too. All you need to do is give us proof of that through a receipt of your coverage, and we'll remove that from the fee, so you don't need to pay that amount if you don't want to. So once you've paid that, there's a few different payment options that you can choose from. They're all outlined on your offer letter, so you've got your, you can do credit card, you can do a bank draft, or you can do telegraphic transfer, and some of you might even be sponsored students, so you just need to include your scholarship letter. And all you need to do then is sign the acceptance agreement. Once we get the payment, we'll then issue the COE within a few working days. Just bear in mind, it is in the lead up to the Christmas, New Year's period here in Australia, so we will be out of the office from the 25th of December, but we are back on the 4th of January. So there might be a slight delay if you send through your information then, but we will be processing them as soon as possible. And then, once you've got your COE, you can apply for your student visa. So you'll do that at either your local High Commission or Australian Embassy or at a consulate. So it just depends on your country to country. But if you visit the immigration website, the Department of Immigration, they give you information on where your local consulate is, and you can basically follow it from there. But a lot of you will have an agent and they'll be able to assist you with that process as well. So, what I might ask you guys is, for those students who might experience a delay in their visa, what should they be doing? Do you want to take over?
Well, Adam, it's probably best they contact future students.
Yep.
If they're feeling that their visa is going to be delayed longer than 2 weeks into the session, they probably need to speak to you guys and maybe defer their offer, so they're starting a little bit later and not being disadvantaged when they're coming into the country and enrolling so late. Is that just for the second week of session, or?
Yeah, that's right. So if you can't make it before the second week of session, basically you're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage to other students who have already started to miss too much content, and you might have even missed assessment tasks. So we would ask you to defer the offer. It's a very simple process. If you want to defer your offer, you just need to send us an email and we'll defer it to the next available intake, and then you would just apply for a visa for that following intake. So that's all you would need to do.
I mean, if it's going to be earlier than the 2 week 2 weeks into the session, you can contact Student Central, and we can help you by assisting you with maybe some subject enrolment, and preparation for a late enrolment. We're just saying that if it's going to be longer than 2 weeks, you may need to contact future students. But if it's going to be before the 2-week mark, then we'll be able to assist you with a late enrolment process at Student Central just by emailing us at askuow@uow.edu.au.
And so a representative will then get in touch with you and help you get ready for that late enrolment. So they'll make sure you've got your subjects selected and you have all the necessary documents so you're not running around to a few different departments. We can just do it all for you in one go and make it a nice smooth process. But best case scenario, we do really want everyone to come to that designated enrolment day because there's going to be representatives from the faculty that will help with your subject selection and get you enrolled in your course. And it's a little bit more smooth if you go that way. But if you can't make it, don't feel stressed, we will sort you out and you'll be taken care of. So Hannah, how many subjects would students normally enrol in when they come for their first session?
Yeah, so as an international student, you do need to comply with your visa obligations, and that means you need to be enrolled full-time. So for a student that would be studying autumn and spring session, that's 4 subjects, and a student who's studying trimesters, that would be 3 subjects. Definitely, if you do have if you have compassionate or compelling reasons to enrol in less than the full-time study load, you can definitely apply to do so and have approval to do that, and then that won't affect your visa either. But yes, for a normal student to stay with your visa obligations, you do have to be enrolled full-time.
Okay, that's great. And one common question that does come up is how soon should I come to Australia to prepare for your studies? So generally you want to get here at least a week before your enrolment date because you want to get settled in, make sure you've got your accommodation sorted. But you're basically entitled to come anytime before your visa. So Christina, you probably want to go over this because you would have a bit more experience. So how often can students work once they get to Australia? Like what kind of hours are they able to work?
So just on your student visa, there is a 20-hour a week or 40 hours over a fortnight for students on your most common student visas. And if you have a subclass 574 visa, you don't have any work limits, so that's usually masters by research or doctorate courses in Australia that you're studying, including at UOW. But if you are on any other subclass visas, it's best to contact immigration in regards to your work rights. But generally speaking, students on a student visa can work 20 hours a week or 40 over the fortnight, and during session break, you've got unlimited access to work. So you can work throughout the whole break, and there isn't a restriction on that. But yeah, so.
And for those students who want help finding employment once they get to Australia, what options do they have available to them?
Okay, so I mean, your first point of contact may be your faculty careers consultant, just to have a bit of a chat to them. But for any part-time work or work around the university or work around the region, you may be able to contact our careers consultant on the university campus. So there's a couple of options there, and there's jobs around the campus and jobs around the region tend to spread via word of mouth. So a lot of your student friends or people they know will know about jobs that are available to you in the region. So
I'll just add on to that as well. Our careers office here at the university do run a job board. So that's an online board that basically posts casual positions and things like that, which could be up the alley for an international student that does have particular limits on the hours they can work.
And that is exclusive, we should also mention, to students who register through Career Central. So once you do that, only people who have registered through Career Central will have access to those jobs.
That's right.
That's a limited pool that you're competing against when finding a job, and it's not just jobs on campus that they help find for you and list on that job board. It is in the outlying regions as well. So whether it's in a restaurant or local shops, anything like that, you have those opportunities available to you. Alright, so now that we're sort of talking about getting on campus, what are sort of the clubs and societies and things that students will have available to them once they're on campus?
We've got a lot of student clubs and societies, ranging for different, all different interests. I mean, real niche things, but as well as there is an international student society, isn't
Yes.
there? There's societies that can get you in contact with people that will help you with your English speaking language, things like that.
Yeah, kind of follow. It
Trying to remember
covers
off
the
top of
full
my head.
spectrum. There's
Yeah.
things as simple as music appreciation to a Harry Potter club, to cultural groups, to religious groups. So there's some church
Yeah.
services and things like that, and sporting clubs and societies. So it's not just about academic engagement, it's about enjoying your experience once you get here to UOW, because when you get here, we do want you to have a good time. It's
And
not
meet
just
people as well, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Because it can be a little bit daunting coming in as an international student. There's a little bit of culture shock, so this is a really great opportunity for you to meet other people and make some friends. So that'll be great.
Yeah.
And I really should have mentioned also before, if you have any questions at all, please type them in. We'll be happy to answer them. We're going to go over some general FAQs, but yeah, we would love to answer any specific questions you might have. So,
I mean, further to that, Adam and Hannah, there is a student support advisor in each faculty, so students can actually pop over and have a chat to them about questions or queries they have about their enrolment, and because those student support advisors are based in the faculty, they tend to be a bit more faculty specific. There's also the Learning and Development Centre here at the university for students who may need assistance with essay writing or research, and then again you've also got the heads of students in the faculty as well, who are there to support you if you need it. So
absolutely.
It's a huge support network
Definitely.
at the university.
And we have had a question come through from Christopher, who's asking about the airport pickup service, which is an excellent question. So UOW does actually offer a free airport pickup service to all its international students. So you can register for that through our accommodation services page. All you need to do is give us 72 hours notice to make sure that we can arrange that booking for you. There's just a simple form that you need to fill out. Basically, you put in your flight number and what time you're arriving, all those kind of little things. And yeah, that'll take you directly from the airport to any residential or university address in Wollongong. So definitely take advantage of that if you'd like to. If alternatively, you can also just catch the train down. So there's a direct train line from the airport. It'll take you over to Walleye Creek, and then you're on a direct line down to Wollongong. And you could get off at either the North Wollongong or Wollongong station. So the station closest to the university would be North Wollongong station. And there's actually a free shuttle service that takes you from the train station directly into the uni. So
And that's about 5 minutes, I think, on the bus.
yeah, it's only a couple of minutes. And that runs very regularly, particularly in session. That's basically constantly running. And when trains arrive into North Wollongong station, there will be a bus waiting for you. Okay. And we've also got another question. International student offer. The agent's email that they're referring to. So Christopher's asking more questions about the agent email. I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. If you have applied for an agent, what you might do is just get your agent to make that arrangements for you. Your agents are there to assist you with all these kind of things, so they will be able to make that booking for you. If not, you can send us an email to futurestudents@uow.edu.au, and we'll definitely be able to help you out with that one. So one question that also comes up quite frequently is, what if you need to take a break from study? Say you might have fallen sick, or you just can't keep up with your studies for that session. What would be the process, and is that possible?
Okay, so in order to comply with your student visa, you need to be studying full-time here. However, we do also appreciate that there will be circumstances and situations where students may need to return home or may need to take a leave of absence for another compelling reason. So the university has a process that students need to follow in order for them to have that leave approved and have it also be put through to the Department of Immigration, so their COE can be updated, and as a subsequent, their visa needs to also be updated so that leave of absence is reflected. So all you need to do as a student is make sure that you let our International Compliance Office know that you would like a leave of absence, generally we do suggest that you take the 6 month. You are entitled to a 12-month leave of absence from any degree. However, it's best to apply for your 6 month in the first instance, and if you do need that extension, contact the International Compliance Office to extend that to a year. So there will be circumstances, they may be personal, they may be compassionate, or they may be just that you need to go home, or there may be a reason that you don't need to go home. You can stay on shore, but you just can't continue studying. That leave of absence will need to be an application through the University of Wollongong website. It'll go to our International Compliance Office for approval, and then your COE will be updated to reflect that, just in case you need to leave the country. But in any case, the application will need to be made and then it's assessed by our compliance office. But definitely yes, if that's a problem and you need to leave or you need to cease study, there is an avenue for you to do that.
Okay, great. And Hannah, because you have previously worked in the fees team,
Yeah.
how do students go about paying their fees? So obviously in your first session you have already paid your deposit, so that's covering your first session.
That's right.
But from that point onwards you're going to be making semi-regular payments. So what do students need to do to keep on top of their payments?
Yeah, definitely. So depending on how many credit points you're enrolled in, you'll incur a certain amount of fees, obviously. So it is accrued per credit point when you enrol. Your fees will be due on the census date of each session. So usually that's about 3 or 4 weeks into the session that's due. When you do enrol at the University of Wollongong, you're given a username and a password and instructions to log into your SOLS account. Or it's an online portal basically with all your enrolment information. Your fee statement will be in there. It will tell you how much you will owe each session, as well as what the due date is for those fees. So you can definitely stay on top of it. We'll send you reminders, like email reminders and email notification through that online portal when your fees are due. If you are having any trouble and you need to discuss your fees, we'll also send you contact information for the fees team, and they're always willing and able to help you out.
Okay, fantastic. And did you mention the instalment plan on that one? Is that available to all students?
So instalment plans are available, obviously not in your first session because you do need to pay that tuition deposit, but in other sessions after that first session there is an instalment plan available to students. That at this stage entails paying 50% of your tuition fees plus an administration fee before that census date, and then we'll give you, usually it's about 4 to 5 weeks to pay off the other 50%. That's a pretty simple application process for that one. That's just done online as well. The fees team will look at your application, and if you're approved for an instalment plan, that's basically what will be set up for you. So there is definitely things in place to help you out if you're finding, this session I'm struggling for fees and with my money, so I need a bit of help.
Okay, fantastic. And Christina, I'll pass this one on to you. So if a student has some immigration questions or concerns about their visa or how to comply with their visa, what advice would you give them? Who should they be contacting?
Okay, your first point of contact can always be us in Student Central. We can help you with mainly complying with your student visa, mainly with your COE and your enrolment obligations. So that would mean like any questions surrounding if am I a full-time student? Am I complying with my visa in that way? So students generally need to be enrolled into 3 subjects if they're a trimester student and 4 subjects if they're a standard session student. So we can give advice on that, or if they wanted to take some leave, or if they wanted to reduce their study for compassionate reasons, we can help them in that way. Any questions in regards to specific conditions on their visa that aren't surrounding their enrolment at the university really need to be directed to the Department of Immigration. And the Department of Immigration, they've got quite a few portals for students to communicate with them. They've got Facebook now. Definitely they've got a 1300 number, I think, but a lot of students are contacting DEAC now on Twitter, Facebook and on their Instagram account they find that to be a little bit more convenient. But in your first point of contact can definitely be Student Central, and if we can't help you there, then we'll definitely direct you to the Department of Immigration or our International Compliance office. So yeah, in regards to enrolment, we could probably assist. Anything outside of that and anything outside of the standard 20-hour a week or 40-hour a fortnight work permit, we'd probably have to direct them. But
yeah, as Christina said, it's always a great point of contact to come to us first because we can give you some of that general advice, and we really want you to make sure that you are meeting the conditions of your visa. So if you do have any concerns along the way, just check. There's no harm in checking. We would hate for you to not be compliant and then have to return home or anything like that. So if there's ever any doubts, it's always a good point to ask. And sort of building off that as well, if you ever want to change your course or you're thinking about changing your course now, so say you've got an offer for a particular degree or major and you're thinking about changing it, it's always best to start making those arrangements now. We'd rather get you sorted out before you arrive in Australia, because that'll make sure things run a lot more smoothly than having to come to us on enrolment day and want to change your course, because then we might need to assess your application again because it might need to go to an alternative faculty and then you would have to be issued a new COE and things. So it's always best to just get those kind of things sorted now, and it'll save you a little bit of drama down in the future. But if you do make that decision when you arrive here, don't feel bad. We are here to help and we can help make those arrangements for you. But we do want it to be a streamlined process for you. And we did have another question from Christopher, just going back to the airport shuttle. So he was asking if someone else is coming along with him. That's fine, but he will need to pay a fee for that one. So the free shuttle service is applicable to enrolling students only. But he can fill that out all in the form. And once again, if you're having any dramas along the way filling that out, please call or email us and we can run it through. It's probably a bit too specific to go into details right on this page, but we'd absolutely be happy to help you with that form. I think that's about it for this. Does any... unless we get any more questions, we'll probably wrap it up. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. If you do have any questions that come up later when you're watching this stream live, into the future, please send us an email. It's just futurestudents@uow.edu.au, and we'll get back to you. And yeah, we'll be happy to talk to you then. Thanks, guys.
thanks.
Bye.
Start the walk nice and early in the morning. Once we get to the top, it's just a really good feeling to watch the sunrise and just talk about life and what we've all been up to. I'm developing a ocean-faring vessel wave-induced energy conversion device. It will store the energy of the boat as it rolls along the wave.
We've been fortunate to be able to build a research group with global credibility. What's brought them here are these incredible world-class facilities that we've created over the last few years. We have the ability in this integrated research facility to undertake very fundamental research and new discoveries. We've developed three-dimensional printers that can extrude and create three-dimensional scaffolds. We've even developed inks that will facilitate the printing of living cells for use in the muscle and nerve regeneration programs.
It's pushed my limits in terms of the way I perceive things in the past. In classes we do group work, and you hear so many different viewpoints and you go, oh, okay, it's really interesting, and I would never have thought like that. And it just really pushes you and allows you to become a lot more open-minded.
I've seen it happen so many times, hundreds of times in my 20-odd years, and I never get bored by watching that exciting process, seeing young people transform themselves into individuals that are really willing to take on big challenges, and they're capable of doing it.
It's made me more equipped when I go out into real life you actually know what's going on. You know how things work now. You know what's about to come at you. You're not going to just be put in the deep end.
I've really had a soft spot for Wollongong. Whenever I have the opportunity to talk to people about the university I went to, I love telling them the fact that it's Wollongong. My name's Bronwyn Evans. I'm a senior engineer and CEO of Standards Australia. One of the things that makes UOW stand out for me is the passion and the excellence of the staff. It's that link to local industry, but it's also the big worldview that UOW has and that vision of being an important player internationally.
We're doing things here at UOW that are changing the world, so don't think that you can't change the world. But that requires a lot of hard work. It requires passion, and it requires commitment to do it, and it requires that passion and commitment sometimes over very sustained periods. You must be a very determined person with that passion and commitment, and you can make a difference to the world.